Well, you were talking about 17 million units of deficits that we have. You have an issue with that, and you say that figure is not correct?
Yes.
What is an estimated figure, mind you?
Let's say now we will move from 17 million to 21 million. In recent conferences, they say 21 million. But let's say an average, if we say we have in this country, we are 150 million people. And now we say an average household size in Nigeria, we say it's 5, husband, wife, and 3 kids. That's the average family size. Then times 17 million. So we have almost 100 million Nigerians sleeping on streets. Is that what they are saying? No, that's not what we're saying. We say, when we say we have deficit, according to the United Nations, we are saying that those houses are substandard houses. We use sizes to frighten ourselves and to demobilize ourselves. We just shunt figures, and government say, how can we cope with this? When we're in FHA, we say, look, it's not that 100 million Nigerians are sleeping on streets, but the houses where they are living in the so-called slums of this country, that they are substandard houses. I would say one of those ways that we can deliver houses in this country is not for government to just focus on new built. These 100 million people that were supposed to be living in substandard houses in the Oroshokis and Ketus of this world, because they don't have good roads, they don't have infrastructure, the environment was not counted as ideal. So people living in such houses were not counted. They were seen as living in houses that were not substandard. So we are saying the only way we can intervene is that those houses, there was National Housing Building Code that said a particular house must maintain, must meet up to a particular standard. So if all the slums and the blighted areas were upgraded to such standard, it's cheaper for us if the day we start to recognize it and stop frightening ourselves. These people are living somewhere, but where they were living, they have land already, minus the cost of new house. Where they're living is there. Most of these slums are close to infrastructure. To put infrastructure that is not as expensive. Some of them have infrastructure before, but now collapse to fix them. But we keep on focusing on deficit. We want to build 17 million houses. Where do you have money to do that? Now, our preoccupation as a country is actually these substandard houses. How do we upscale? And it's cheaper for us. If it will take 10 million to build a new house, it will take half of that, or 1/3, to fix those houses into habitable. And there was a time in the 70s that it was noticed in this country that there were so many houses without roofs. And there was roof loans were given. And so many housing stocks across the country were brought into the market for people to use. So these substandard houses, if they could be upgraded, lesser than what we give out to someone as loan to go and start a new house. Those are the problems. Those are the issues that we have.
If you remember, the government had said last year that it was going to be. The government intends to build 1 million housing units every year annually.
Okay. And where are they? Where are they?
Ask.
No. So those are the truths. We said when we were in FHA that for 4 years we are going to deliver 2 million houses in 4 years. The first year, 10,000 houses. People say, how do you do it? But what we are saying is that they were not going to be newly built. We have built so many houses in this country that are substandard. The preoccupation of this country in the next few years is actually urban regeneration. Let those houses that are substandard, let no one keep on frightening us with statistics. We have 17 million times 5. Almost 100 million people living on the streets. We don't have it. But we are saying that we have substandard houses that more. So when we are doing upgrading, then we are bringing new houses into the market. The pressure will not be on this mortgage. You understand what I'm saying? So that is that. But back to our mortgage, which is the most important thing for on this program. What they have created is a secondary mortgage platform, but there must be a solid primary before we can be thinking of a good secondary. So these organizations were there, yes, but how many primary mortgage do originate loan in this country? that they will now refinance with them. That's another issue. So we have to look at the entire process. I kept on saying that we can't continue. If we have been trying to solve the problem of housing in the last 20 years, and the deficit kept on piling rather than reducing, then we have to sit back and say, what is it that we're not doing right? What is it that we're not doing right? But we're not doing so many things right. Because we kept on saying, let us focus on land. The present preoccupation of this government is land reform, land reform, land reform. If we solve the problem of land, then there will be houses. No. Land reform is a part of the process. The watchword should have been affordable housing provision for Nigerians. Social housing provision for those who will not buy from the market. Land reform is just the foundational something. You understand what I'm saying? But we can't be that, let us solve the problem of land reform for 10 years, then we'll wait and solve other problems. Because other problems are there. In the value chain of real estate, land is the first, after which is physical infrastructure, then the construction of the houses itself, the skill that you require to build these houses, the availability of mortgage finance for me to buy, and the mortgage, secondary mortgage for the PMI to discharge to. It's a chain. A chain is as strong as its weakest point. Every point simultaneously must be worked upon. You understand what I'm saying? As we are working on refinancing, we must also be looking at the problem of land use. At the same time, looking at it's a chain process. Except we do this. I kept on saying the housing business is like a car engine. It's like a car. You can't say, I have a beautiful car. My only problem is my tire. You don't have a car. You can't say, I have a car. The problem is battery. You don't have a car. You can't say, I have a car. The problem I have with my car is my carburetor. You don't have a car. No matter how beautiful it looks like. Until you fix every part of the car, you don't have a car. Yeah. And the same thing with housing in this country. Until we fix every component of the... None can wait for the other. Carburetor cannot wait for tire. Now let's fix the problem of carburetor. Now we go to tire.
Now what about the issue? Because we are talking about mortgage here. It has to do with interest rates. And we know that we have high interest rates here in Nigeria.
Yeah,
so
it is not interest rates. It is not... Is Nigeria different from any part of the world? We are not different from any part of the world. What is affordable housing? What makes housing affordable? When computer came, the first computer I bought cost me about 600,000. How many Nigerians could buy it then? I put inside a room and locked it up and put security gate there. Today, with how many people? Today, people go to computer village and pick computer with 20,000. And you see 20 computers in every home. What happens? What makes computer affordable? Is it that they've changed the structure of computer? No. The price crashed. We have to crash the price of houses. You understand what I'm saying? The issue is not mortgage. It's not the interest. How much is houses going for in Nigeria? When I was in the board of housing for humanity, Fuller housing for humanity, this international organization, we found out that a 2-bedroom apartment in Nigeria that costs $20,000 is $2,000 in Israel. So why is our problem? Why is it that the cost of housing is that high in Nigeria? It's not the interest rate. That if we can industrialize housing production, just like car. When car came, it was handmade. It was not industrialized. And they were selling that only one person in a town could buy. But now, through plants, through industry, we found out that many people could buy cars. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing with housing. Until houses are mass-produced, just like any other commodity, you understand what I'm saying? The price will continue to be high. Interest on what? For me to pay 5% interest on a 10 million worth of houses becomes unaffordable. But if I'm paying 5% on something that is just 2 million, it's a lot of difference. I could afford it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying that it's a whole log of value chain. Now, why is houses in Nigeria, why are they that expensive?
All right, let me take you back to the issue of the mortgage refinancing.
That's
again.
Right.
You had said, well, there was no need for the government to start coming up with another institution.
But it's needful. It's a needful institution.
Yes, but then Federal Mortgage Bank can actually...
Could have been empowered to do it.
Good. Now that government has decided to do so, what would be your suggestion? Should we scrap Federal Mortgage Bank, or I don't know?
Who will scrap Federal Mortgage Bank? You can't scrap Federal Mortgage Bank. Those are the dreams we have in this country. You know what I'm saying? We have Ajakuta there. We can't close up Ajakuta. And it's a pit we kept on putting money. There are so many projects we have a back upon in this country that were drained. You can't scrap them. FMBN is so big. You can't scrap it.
Well, this project, well, the refinancing company now, World Bank seems to be in support of it and has already given out a loan of $300 million.
It's good.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, we need it. But at the end of the day, in 1977, when FMBN was restructured, government just gave them 200 million to start with. But it didn't change the problem of FMBN. You understand what I'm saying? Our responsibility to make the refinancing system work is to look through the process, is to see housing as a system. Look through the process that will make us to acquire land without money coming to disturb us, the process that will make us to build houses at a price instead of 5 million now, that will make it 1.5 million, at a price that whereby there will be primary mortgage that I can walk to and say I want to buy a house. It's only in this country that people build houses. You must be very wealthy to build houses in UK or in America. People buy houses because there are institutions that are prepared, like we have Redan, who are building in large scale. You just go there and buy. So we have to begin to look at the whole process as a system. When we look at as a process, then the refinancing aspects of it will succeed.
Yeah.
So, but where we say, let us just pick the refinancing and work on it, we'll not really get things done.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor, for sharing your thoughts with us on the program.
Thank you.
Well, I've been talking with Professor Timothy Nubi, a professor of estate management at the University of Lagos. Well, it's on that note that we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for staying with us. And don't forget, tomorrow is yet another day on the program, even though it's a holiday. Well, until then, enjoy your holiday. From all of us here, happy Eid al-Fitr.